Check, 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 check. We are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Dharma Friends live stream hangout. A lot of people here in the beginning. Usually it takes a little time for people to come in. Welcome. If you haven't already, let us know in the chat where you are watching the stream from. Let's see who's here. I have a guess who was here first. Incense. Here's a quiz for you. In Buddhist temples, you'll see people shake the incense, not blow on it. Does anyone know why? Why shouldn't you blow on the incense? Why do you have to shake it out? Let me know in the chat. I'll be curious to see. I just thought about that. I haven't heard it in a long time since I haven't lived in a temple in a while. Let's see who's here first. My camera's a little crooked, but that's all right. I think it's more my mind is crooked than the camera. Chesre, wow. Chesre was here an hour ago. Hello, everyone. And then 30 minutes ago, we have Jolanta says hello. Are you still here? I'd be curious to see if you're still here. Helena says she's here. That was 25 minutes ago. Boy, everyone starts early. Maybe I should start the stream at 11. Maybe I'll do that. But then maybe people will come at 10. Let's see. So Helena's here. Helena says, hello, everyone. Irene's here. Okay, Dharma Friends. I guess this is what we're calling it now. Dharma Friends live stream hangout. I believe it was Adam's idea. Adam or John? John probably would be late. We'll see. Actually, I didn't see John at practice yesterday. Let's see. Keith is here. Hey, Keith. Good to see you. Keith says good afternoon or evening or morning, depending where you are. That's right. We had one person I remember who used to come from India, and it was like 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. or something like that. Very dedicated. Fizzat Beyond says, hello, all. I'm finally able to make it again. Good. I'm very good to see you. Welcome back. I guess we're doing this consistently so far, right? Every Friday. We'll see how long I can keep this going. 66 Fitzjohn says, namaste, namaste. Good to see you. If you haven't already, let us know where you are watching the stream from. Jeff Burrows gives us hop chongs, 3 of them. Here's another quiz question. So the first quiz question was, why in Buddhist temples do you shake out the incense rather than blow out the fire when you light it? And the second one is, does anyone know, if you follow my YouTube channel, does anyone know why I give 3 hop chonks? That's another question for you. We're going to turn this into a quiz stream today. All right. Okay, so Jeff says from Baltimore. 66 Fitzjohn is from Wilton Manors, Florida. Cool. Let's see. Irene, sunny Ontario. Is it sunny there? Cesare is still there. He says, hey, Kevin. Kevin is here. Kevin says, hello from Berkeley. I'm actually going to be in Berkeley. I'll probably talk about this a little bit more later. I believe Sunday, after I give one-on-one sessions for the Sunday morning practice, I'm driving to Berkeley, and I think I'm going to stay there Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I think on my birthday on Thursday, my family is going to come up, and we may come back here on Friday. So if you're in the Berkeley area and you want to connect, maybe we can. I will have to do some work there, and I'm probably going to do some recording, have some stuff to record. I'll get into that later too. A lot of people here so far. Let's see. All right, Jolanta said, yes, I'm here. Good. Also, during this live stream, we call it the Dharma Friends live stream hangout. So it is a hangout, but also it's a good chance to ask any kind of question that you may have about meditation, practice, life, Zen, any kind of question. I'll try to answer it for you if I can. Oh, John says, hey, you guys, that's another quiz. What movie is that from? I know John knows. IPS problems yesterday morning. No, I thought so. Did you give a talk last night, John, for Empty Gate? I think Clinton was wondering, he was trying to get a hold of you, I think. Helena says, very rainy evening in South Africa, 10 p.m. here. You know, I want to visit there, Helena. Maybe we can do like a Dharma talk, maybe a retreat or something there. What do you think? John says, OKC. Is that short for Oklahoma? What does that mean? Oklahoma City? Mr. Jet Mango's here. Mr. Jet Mango says, hi, all. Helena says, Buddha Dharma Sangha. Wow, you nailed that one very quickly. That is correct. If you're wondering why I do 3 hop chons in my comments on YouTube, you know, we should talk about that, about the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. I have an idea of making a video of kind of talking about common Buddhist terms that are more connected to our experience rather than some kind of understanding. So let me get through the chat and maybe we can talk about the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Jam Jones says, hey, Jason. Good to see you, Jam Jones. Welcome. Jolanta says, hello, 8:05 p.m. from London and Eastbourne. Guess what? I am flying into London, I believe in July 1st. I'm going to visit the Zen Center there. But I'm looking for places to stay. Actually, our family is. I have a lot to announce, but that's one idea. We have a plane ticket there. We don't have a plane ticket back. We're trying to do this all on points. It's very expensive to fly to Europe, especially in the summer. So we're trying to use all of our points to get there. So far we have points, meaning credit card points. We play that game, or at least I do. We got basically a free ticket there. And we're wondering where to stay in London. I'm guessing like Airbnbs is the best place. If anybody is in London and knows of a good place to stay, please let me know. We might also travel to Paris because we do know people there, but we're going to be in the same situation. We're trying to spend very little money and visiting some of the Zen centers, hanging out. I think we're going to end up in Spain. We're going to visit the temple there. Does anybody know about the temple in Spain? Near Barcelona. Anyways, let's get through this chat. Let's see. Fizz at Beyond, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. It's Matt F. Yeah, I know. I can tell by your picture. Like a lot of people in their YouTube, what do you call them? Not thumbnails. Profile pics. It's not even called that. I guess it's a profile pic. But yeah, of course, Matt. Very good to see you. All right, Irinette. So we're talking about why in Buddhist temples, when they light the incense, do they shake the flame out rather than blow it? It's pretty crazy. So you're saying, won't it burn faster if you blow on a lit incense stick? That is true, but it's not the reason why they do that. Ontario is sunny, but still below 0. Wow. Yeah, okay. That's cool. Kevin, Jason, I'll try to stop by Empty Gate if I can. Yeah. You should. Go out to nuts. I know a really good noodle place. I don't know if you like noodles, but I'm a big fan of noodles. When I was a monk, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of monks love noodles. And I have to say, when I was a monk, fell in love with them, especially when I went to Korea and they had handmade noodles. Anyways, there's a place in Berkeley that's very good. Maybe we can go there. We'll see. John, Oklahoma City, don't you know your airport codes by now? I should, John, but I don't go to Oklahoma. And maybe I should. Maybe we will. I'm thinking you will start a group there. That's I just came up with this idea, John. By the way, if you're just joining us, this is the Dharma Friends live stream hangout. It's a good chance to hang out. If you haven't already, let us know where you are viewing this live stream from. Also, if you have any questions about Zen, meditation, life, your practice, any kind of question, put it in the chat. Restoring Movement is here. Greetings from Tennessee. Nice. First time here. Welcome. Glad you're here. That's one thing. We don't have a Zen center in Tennessee. I was thinking that this year for my traveling, I'm still trying to fine tune it, that I'm going to visit Zen centers in places that are very small and need support. Like I used to go to Cambridge Zen Center to lead retreats, and I thought, why do they need me there? They have so many teachers able to lead retreats. They have a lot of resources, is what I'm saying. But there are other Zen centers that are very small. They probably see their guiding teacher either never or maybe once a year or twice a year. So I'm thinking somehow how to support these centers. That's on my list for this year. If you have any ideas, let me know. But I'd love to come to South Africa. A retreat would be amazing, wouldn't it? Maybe we should talk about this and make it a reality. My wife, Kendra, actually lived there for, I'm not sure how long, 3 months. I'll have to ask her again. We are going to do a Kendra and Jason live stream. She did agree to it. We just have to pick a date. All right. So let's see. Greetings from Tennessee. Keith said it's beautiful. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I know I've been saying a lot of stuff already. John, I did give a talk last night. I found out I was on the schedule about 3 or 4 hours before. Did you not sign up for that, or they just volunteer you? So Keith is saying at least on Zoom. Okay, Keith, don't scare the fire ghosts. So yeah, actually, this is a thing in Buddhist temples. Is they shake, you don't blow the incense out because it can burn the ghosts. Now, this is just kind of Buddhist. I'm not even sure what you call it, but actually, if you look at the intention, I remember taking the 250 precepts when I became a full bhikkhu monk, Buddhist monk. And a lot of the precepts didn't make really sense when I first heard them. One is like, don't pee on anything green, like green grass or I was like, why? And I learned from this one is behind all of it is how can I help? Right? Because I've said this before, like usually during sitting meditation, let's say you sit every day for 30 minutes. Many people feel like that experience of calmness, bliss, maybe the intention of helping the world. But then when they get up off the cushion, they're a different person. Meditation just goes out the window. So I learned like from all of these kinds of forms, like shaking the incense. If you practice in the quantum school of Zen, you notice there's a lot of forms. When you go into the meditation room, you bow to the Buddha and you bow at your seat. There's all these forms. And they're not meant to control people. I know it kind of feels like that. But it's to help us pay attention from moment to moment. I remember when I first did my first retreat at the Providence Zen Center. So at that time, I was living in Seattle, at the Zen Center in Seattle with another monk. I just started monastic training. So I was a layperson, but I had brown monastic clothes on. I already did a 3-month retreat in Korea. So I went to Providence to set a summer kilche. So at that time, I think it was 4 weeks long, maybe 5. They were going between like 4 and 6. Anyways, they wanted me to be the Moktak master. So that's a person who hits the wooden instrument during the chanting. And also you give this signal before sitting practice and things like that. Anyways, so my teacher every day, several times a day, was always correcting me. Like, oh, you're playing the Moktak too fast. You need to slow it down. Oh, you're giving it a bounce. Just play it straight forward. Oh, when you're taking the 3 steps back from the altar, they're too big. Make the steps smaller. Like, it was always something. And at one point I was like, man, what's wrong with this guy? But then something interesting happened. 2 weeks later, I realized that I was paying attention to what I was doing, not just when I had the Moktak, but when I was eating food, when I was working during work period, during sitting. Like, I noticed that I was paying attention more, and I realized, oh, all of the form. And other Zen centers are way more strict than the Quantum School of Zen, I've heard. But they are meant to help us. So that's one of the forms. So when you shake the incense, it's just a reminder of how can I help? Now, are there ghosts? Still got to fix my camera here. 1 second. Let's go through the chat. And by the way, if you're just joining us, welcome to the Dharma Friends live stream hangout. It's a good chance to connect. If you haven't already, let us know where you're watching the stream from. If you have any questions about meditation, Zen, practice, your life, any kind of question, put it in the chat. Hey, Michael's here. Hey, Michael. Good to see you. It's been a while. Feels like it's been a while. Michael says, good to see you, Jason. I'm very glad you're here. B Scala. Am I saying that right? Hi, Jason. Were you at a Soto, or I'm going to guess you're saying Rinzai Zen monastery? And have you read Wild Ivy, the haiku book? No, I have not read that book. If you recommend it, I'll check it out. So I practice in the Quantum School of Zen, which is a Korean style Zen. So Korean Zen is very interesting because we do everything. We do koan practice. We do a lot of sitting, walking meditation. If you do our retreats, we also do a lot of chanting, probably more than any other tradition. So Korean Zen is really mixed up in style. So it's not either Soto or Rinzai, just because we practice all of these things. Does that make sense? John, isn't the European Kilche in Espana? Is that how you say it this year? I believe their retreats move around. Let me take a look at that. So they have in the old days, they would have one location for example, their 3-month retreats in the winter. And I believe the summer was the same. And then I think several years ago, they started doing like one location for 1 week, another location for a different week. I'm going to go to their website and see. They have a summer program. Let's just see what it says. Maybe I can share my screen. It'll be more interesting. And I'll get through the chat, I promise. Share screen. Let's go. Quantum School of Zen Europe. Here we are. Coming empty-handed, going empty-handed. That is human. All right, this is good. Their website looks pretty good. Now, see, this says join our winter retreat program. So I don't even see a summer one. At 3 Zen temples all around Europe. Huh. Next event. So that's happening already now. Okay. So maybe they haven't posted their summer plans yet. Do they have a calendar? Let's see. Subscribe to our calendar. All events. Let's check. What's going on? Oh, doesn't look like it's working so well. Nope. So John, I don't know. I can't answer that for you. Let's see what else is going on in the chat here. Stefan's here. Hello from Ottawa, Ontario. Good to see you again. Welcome back. You know, I noticed this too when I used to stream on occasion. Not on occasion. So when I used to stream every week, which before I think was Thursdays with Empty Gate Zen Center, you know, you kind of build up a group. Started off very small, and then people knew that every week that we had the stream, so they would just hop on, and they got used to it. You know, and then when I started streaming, I think I did that for a little while, and then it was like once a month or twice a month, and there wasn't many people coming because again, they weren't. Is this making sense? We weren't keeping it consistent. Okay, M Spilla 008. Welcome, by the way. A follow-up to this. What is the point of incense in a meditation hall? Is it supposed to elevate the experience, or is there a function element I am missing? So I believe, I could be wrong, but when I was a monk going to different Korean temples and this and that, you always made an offering to the Buddha. So that offering would be, especially during ceremonies, candles, water, food. Food is very common to put on, like fruits and things like that, and then incense. Okay, so I believe traditionally in Buddhism it was an offering. And you know, a lot of form and Zen borrowed from Buddhism, right? But what I noticed, and I'm going to put this in kind of a practical point. I think the incense is important. First, yeah, the intention of offering, always giving. How can I help? How can I give in this moment? Right? Paying attention to when you're lighting the candles, opening up the water container, lighting the incense. But for sitting meditation, I find it to be very helpful because, you know, we're we're habitual creatures, right? We think a lot. A lot of us cling to our thinking. We're attached to our thinking. So we have all these tools to help wake us up. One tool is the sitting posture. One tool is the breathing, paying attention to the breath. One tool is a mantra or some kind of meditation technique to help us pay attention to the moment. And you figure we keep our eyes halfway open in Zen meditation, right? What do you see right now? The desk is brown. What do you hear right now? Right now, I hear my wife talking in her office next door. And right now, before when I started the stream, I lit some incense. So smelling the incense helps to wake us up. So sometimes you might hear about the 6 dusts, right? So we all have these senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, mind. And we have these dusts, 6 dusts clouding all of these senses, right? The eyes are blind, meaning they just want to see what they want to see. I just want to hear what I want to hear. This is happening all over the world right now. I was going to say United States, but we all got issues, right? I just want to smell what I want to smell. I just want to smell good smells. That's why they said the smell of shit is the Buddha. And what that means is that it wakes you up. So anyways, all of these dusts are clouding our senses. And so we're living a dream. Maybe it's a teacher dream. Maybe it's a man or woman dream. Maybe it's a Democrat or Republican dream. Maybe it's a religious dream. Maybe it's even a bodhisattva dream, or I call it the how can I help dream. So it's very important to take all of these dusts away, so our senses wake up. They become clear. Our eyes just see wall is white. The ears just hear the birds are chirping outside. The nose just smells the smell of the incense. It's not good. It's not bad. It's not wrong. It's not right. There's no like or dislike. It's just the truth. So I find, coming back to your question, that the incense is one of the tools that can help keep us awake. John, don't knock the beans on the incense by blowing on it. Wave the flame out. There you go. There's this thing in Buddhism called the hungry ghosts. Have you heard about this? They're all around us. They might even be inside you. Irene, incense is the timer for a meditation session and also an offering, as far as I understand. Yes, you are correct. So I talked about the offering. I talked about how it can help us wake up, but I forgot this part. Very important, actually. And I never even heard about this. So Irene talked about a timer for meditation. So one time, so back in 2004, my teacher and I went to Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong. And when we were in Singapore, they were doing a 1-week retreat. And before they started the retreat, the teacher at this place wanted me to be the head Dharma teacher. I was looking for a break. I just wanted to sit, but I offered to do it. So the head Dharma teacher is responsible for keeping time of the sitting, checking in with people, kind of running the sitting sessions. So I said, how long do you sit? And this teacher told me, oh, we sit for 1 incense. I was like, what? 1 incense? What does that mean? But I realized that when the incense burns all the way down, then you get up. And the kind that I use, and they were using too, is it's actually 30 minutes about. Isn't that crazy? So yes, Irene, thank you for that. That's very true. And I forgot all about that. So yeah, you could figure back in the day, they didn't have clocks and things like that, right? You just use incense. We sit for 2 incense. Danny's here. Hey, Danny, good to see you. Hello from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Keith says the temple in Spain is beautiful. Have you been there, Keith? We're also looking for a place to stay around there. All for very reasonable prices, of course. Restoring Movement. Thank you. I wish there was a Zen center here, but I moved from San Diego a year ago to the middle of nowhere. Yeah. Very peaceful here, but no one to practice with. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. You know, I meet people all over the world who are in the exact situation that you are. Now, some of you know that I do teach in the Quantum Zen online Sangha. So the online Sangha are for people who are, or mostly, we kind of reach all kinds of different people now. But when we first started it, we were trying to reach people who had no support, no teacher to connect with, no place to practice, no retreats to do. So we started this online Sangha. So if you're interested, we can chat about it more. You know, anyone can contact me, by the way, jason@jasonquinzen.com. Email me anytime. I respond. Sometimes I'm not fast, but I do respond to everybody. Or you can go to my website, jasonquinzen.com. There's a little form you can fill out. You put in your name and the message, and then I can get back to you. But if you're interested in exploring more options, we can talk about that. Okay. Jeff, wondering what kind of incense are you burning? Yes. Let's see. I think I have the box here somewhere. Did I throw that out already? I'll recycle it. Here we go. Now, this is the reason why I have this. For me, this is nostalgic. Now, I used to burn like this like Nag Champa and stuff, and I have to say, some of the incense that I used to use felt like they were dipped in diesel fuel. Do you know what I'm talking about? But this incense here, you can take a picture of that. I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's from Japan. Can you see that? There we go. Is that reading the right way? It's Boy, I'm going to butcher this. Manichiko, M-A-I-N, looks like Maine, I-C-H-I, Ichi, C-O-H, Ko. And this is sandalwood. And it reminds me of when I used to sit a lot of 3-month retreats. We used to burn something very close to this. So for me, it's nostalgic. That's why I use it. So there you go. I think you can get it on Amazon. I'm not sure where I get these from. They last a while. I have another box inside the house too. Okay, Kevin. What a warm invitation. I'm into noodles and lunch. I even do noodling a lot. There you go. Yeah, let's see if we can connect. Like I said, I will be working during the week and recording, but send me a message and we can see if we can connect. Because I'm going to have to eat. I realize that I'm going to have to eat there. Mr. Jet Mango is asking John about beans. By the way, if you're just joining us, welcome to the Dharma Friends live stream hangout. It's a good chance to connect. If you have any questions about Zen, meditation, practice, life, or any kind of question, put it in the chat. I think my camera's still doing a little hesitation. I'm not sure why. The camera itself was good. Could be the streaming software. It's very expensive streaming software. Luckily to Helena, who helps me out here. You still here? If it wasn't for Helena, I would not be streaming. I'd probably be using the regular old YouTube thing. But I can definitely do a lot more with this. One thing that I do, especially if you're in the Patreon community, if you send me a question and it's going to take longer than like a quick email, I'll make a video and send it to you. I do that for the Patreon folks. All right. So let's see. What else is going on in the chat here? I still haven't finished the chat. Keith, same for hitting the bell stand. Don't scare the bell ghost. Never heard that one before. I thought that was just an excuse for the teachers who didn't like it loud. Also pouring offering water down the drains in a specific way, not to drown the hungry drain ghosts. Right. I heard that one too from my teacher. You probably heard it from Dick Kwong as well. I think as a joke, he used to say that. So we have this, again, we're coming back to forms. So there's always kind of religious beliefs and religious forms, and then there's practicing forms. So a lot of Zen centers and traditions have borrowed from Buddhism, of course. So one practice is after we're finished eating the meal. So I don't want to talk about this too long, but it's we use 4 bowls in our formal meals. I think in Japan they use 3. And there's a certain process, rice goes in one bowl, soup goes in the other. Well, that's the original form. But anyways, everything you put into your bowl, you eat. And not only do you eat everything in your bowl, after you're done eating, we take hot tea and we clean the bowl with our fingers and drink everything. So everything that was left over. So we don't waste a thing. So this is just being mindful about not wasting and using everything in this moment that we have. So not wasting anything, not even wasting this moment. So after we clean the bowls, then we have one bowl that just is holding water, and all the other bowls have been rinsed with this water. So after the meal, we have somebody somebody's bringing the bowl to each person, and you're offering water. But this water has to be crystal clear. And again, I always said in the introduction to the meals, formal meals, is whatever you pour in that bowl is a reflection of your mind. So if your bowl had a lot of crumbs and dirt in it, then your mind is like that. If you pour in clear water into the bowl, then your mind is clear. So it's a practicing tool. Again, another technique that we use. But again, it comes from a Buddhist tradition too, where you offer this water to the hungry ghosts. Now, the hungry ghosts are interesting beings. They're people who desired, I don't even know if that's the word, maybe craved, a strong craving for food. And when they died, they were reborn as this hungry ghost. So they have these big bellies and their throats are very tiny. You can only get a needle through it. So if you offer water with crumbs in it, that will make the hungry ghost choke. So in order to help these hungry ghosts, you would only pour clear water into the bowl. So when they drink it, they still get the nutrients from like the oils and things like that, but they don't suffer more from the crumbs. So you can see again, behind the form is always, how can I help? And I was talking about the precepts. If you look at the 250 monastic precepts, most of them don't make any sense, but behind them means, how can I help? John, beings when you don't remember ghosts. Got it. Mr. Jet Mango, what about putting it out by submerging in water? Oh, I see what you're saying. Are we talking about the incense here? What about putting it out by submerging it in water? Are we talking about incense? Because if you did that, then the incense won't burn. We're talking about when you first light the incense, there's that little flame. You shake it out and then put it into the incense burner. But if you're talking about something else, you can let me know. If you're just joining us, welcome to the Dharma Friends live stream hangout. If you haven't already, let us know in the chat where you're watching the stream from. We have people from around the world right now. If you do have any questions, like Mr. Jet Mingo does, about meditation, Zen, your practice, life, any kind of question, you can put into the chat. Dear Jason, I have 2 questions for this evening. 1, is love enough? Or is it always enough? What if we love someone who hurts us? What if someone loves us but hurts us? Okay. All right, so let's start there. First of all, what is love? If I brought in 10 people in this room, there's going to be 10 different ideas about what that is. And if you've been following my YouTube channel, I always talk about 2 types of love: attachment love and unconditional love. They're completely different. And I believe that every relationship, human relationship, I'm not just talking about romantic ones, it can be family members, friends, Dharma friends, right? There's always a mixture of attachment love and unconditional love. So I'm going to think about my children right now because it might be an easier thing for me to talk about. Right? Which one's stronger? Attachment love has conditions. You do this, 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 and this for me, then I will be happy. Right? It has conditions. So that means if that person doesn't meet my conditions, then I don't love them anymore. Right? It's conditional. That's why we say unconditional love doesn't have these conditions. But this is very common, especially in relationships, romantic ones, especially in the beginning of romantic relationships. Their attachment love is very strong. Why? You did this to me? Unconditional love means that, how can I help? And even if my child says, I hate you, I still love them. Even if the child doesn't talk to me, my arms are still open. Now, does it hurt? Yeah, of course it hurts. As long as you're a human being, it's going to not feel good. But it's not conditional, meaning, oh, my kids have to approve of me and have to be nice to me, then I will love them. Is this making sense? So this is where we're getting to the difference between attachment love, or we can call it conditional love, versus unconditional love. But unconditional love still has pain. In fact, human life will always have pain. That's part of the human condition. The difference is, how do we relate to the pain? So the only way we can have unconditional love for others is we have to understand ourselves. Because a lot of conditional love comes out of, you give me these things and I will be happy. If you don't give me these things, I am not happy. But what is this I? And it gets worse when we start identifying with the relationship. You hear this all the time. I remember when my parents got divorced after 30 years, my dad was like, I don't know. That was me. That was my life. And again, of course, you're going to have pain, but is it really you? Because if you're not in that relationship, then what are you? Right? So a lot of this conditional, anything actually, if you look at anything as conditional, if my job doesn't give me this, this, and this, I'm not happy. If my partner doesn't give me this, this, and this, I'm not happy. If it's going to rain today, I'm not happy. It's got to be sunny, then I'll be happy. This is what we do to ourselves. We torture ourselves. And this was what the Buddha was talking about in the Four Noble Truths. Suffering comes from grasping. I want this. If I don't get it, I'm not happy. Okay, does that make sense? All right. So second, what is correct function / Buddhist attitude in regards to the revelation of the Epstein files and the horrible evil that surrounds all of this? I mean, correct function just means there's the truth of what's happening, and then we respond to that truth with some help. Okay. I think there's this idea and I'm not sure if you're pointing to this, but Buddhists are just, I call it spiritual bypassing, right? Some people use their spiritual practice as blinders. They see the whole world through their spiritual practice. And again, like I said, it's just another dust clouding our perception. Oh, life is suffering. So, of course, who cares about the Epstein files? This cause and effect is clear. This kind of talk. That's not correct function. Correct function means, first of all, we take away the dusts. So take away the spiritual idea. Take away the idea of even wanting to help. I know I always say, you only need to know two things. What's happening right now? How can I help? But it's not a belief or a philosophy. It's an action in the moment. And actually, we already have correct function inside of us. I was just thinking, why, my son was asking me one time, we'd like to talk about funny things. Why are there red lights, like stoplights and green lights and yellow lights? You know why that is? Because if we didn't have them, remember, everything's about me. The whole world revolves around me. So I get to go, get out of my way. Right? But if we were clear, if we saw somebody coming, we would slow down. Hey, please pass through and then go. But unfortunately, human beings are not like this. So human beings don't understand what it means to be a human being, because we disconnect ourselves from everything else in this world, and we suffer, and we cause a lot of suffering. The stronger our ego is, the stronger our suffering is. And what I mean by that, the suffering we express to other people. So, people who have a lot of power want control, because they, deep down inside, they know, maybe not intellectually, they can't control anything in this life. And that's scary. We have no control of anything. You may not even live another 24 hours. You don't know. So people, because they don't understand this ego, they don't understand their true self, they have to start controlling people, getting power, getting a lot of money. See the conditioning? If I have all of these things, then I have power. I have control. And then we start abusing people. I've done this now, not into the extreme that you're mentioning, but I've done this before and I'm not proud of it, but I learned from it. I learned that my actions were hurting people, and it was because I didn't understand myself and I was grasping after something and I didn't even know why. So, correct function means understanding our true self, perceiving the truth and responding to this world. And we all have very unique karma and we all express it in different ways. Does that make sense? All right. I'm just going to continue down in the chat because we got about 15 minutes left. If you're just joining us, welcome to the Dharma Friends live stream hangout. Good chance to connect. If you have any questions about Zen, meditation, practice, life, any kind of question, put it in the chat. All right. So very good question, Mr. Jetmango. Thank you so much for asking that, because it is important. We don't just sit back and watch everything happen. We take action. And like I said, we all have a way to do that. Stefan says, thank you. Keith says, I believe Europe does what North American does, 1 month of Kilche in the summer. Yeah, I think you're right about that. I just didn't see it on the website, but it is still early, I guess. Caroline, is that right? Says hello from Maine. Hey, good to see you. Welcome. Glad you're here. John said, yes, I signed up for the Dharma talk, but I didn't get the schedule till yesterday. Okay. I did give Clinton your phone number. I hope that's okay. I didn't want to invade your privacy. I usually don't do that, but I trust Clinton and I knew he would not abuse it. Keith says, no, I haven't. I just sit with them on Zoom now and then, the temple in Spain. Okay, got it. Oh, yeah, I didn't know they did streaming. That's cool. Helena says, still here. Thank you. I appreciate you, Helena. John, so let's see. John, so when you're out of town, do you burn white sage incense to remind you of home? That's a good one, John. John is the comedian in the bunch here. Danny said, is Zen not Buddhism? So yeah, I mean, if we're talking about as a form, Zen, I wanted to talk about this today, but there's been a lot of good questions and comments, so I didn't get used to it. But this book, have you read this book, Danny? If you haven't, read this book. It's The Compass of Zen. Zen Master Sung Song talks about the different types of Buddhism. So, there's this kind of original Theravadan Buddhist practice. There's Tibetan Buddhism. There's Zen Buddhism. And even in Zen Buddhism, there's different styles. There's Korean Zen, Japanese Zen, Chinese Zen, which are all very different in forms. So the way to look at it, Danny, is when in one of the sutras, the Buddha said, I have all of these different types of teaching. They're like fingers pointing to the moon. So the moon being your enlightened nature. Use the finger to perceive the moon. Don't attach to the finger. Many people do this. Zen is the best. No, Theravadan's the original practice. Zen is not the real practice. All of this kind of stuff is nonsense. Right? That's attached to the finger. We're attaching to the form or the technique. Use that technique to help wake yourself up. Don't let the technique use you. Jolanta, I'm going to pronounce this right. I always say, does Bogumilia, did I say that right? Does she go by Bogusha? Yeah, Zen Master Dayan lives in London. I did email her about staying there. The Lens Zen Center established sure doesn't exist in initial form, but the contact, is maintained online. Okay. So when I'm in London, hey, maybe we can meet. I'm not sure what's going to go on. Depends. We don't have a schedule yet. We just have tickets and we don't have a way back home yet. But basically, I hope to go to the Zen Center, maybe give a talk or at least attend a sitting or something like that. Maybe we'll meet. Jeff, oh, you found the incense online. Just found it online. You're welcome. Enjoy it. It's very good. I promise it won't be like diesel fuel. Caroline. I knew Sung Song by correspondence. Wow, long ago, late 1970s, early 1980s. Helped a teeny bit with the Providence Zen Center building in Cumberland, Rhode Island. A few hours of plastering. It seems like everyone has done some kind of work there. I lived at the Providence Zen Center for maybe 12 years total. I did a lot of stuff on there. Now, I don't think I built anything. I definitely did a lot of repairing. I came to at the period of time, let's see, I moved to Providence in 1997. So I was at the stage where I was doing a lot of repairing of the building. Mr. Jet Mango says, thank you. Okay, and you're saying you're lightly connected with the Northern Light Zen Center here. Yeah, in Maine, great, awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Glad you're here. And thank you all for being here, actually. I really appreciate you all. Danny said it's next on my list. Okay, so he'll kind of explain it a little bit more. Now, I have to say, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. We didn't get into it, so maybe next week, remind me. I want to talk about I was going to talk about the different types of meditation that he talks about. He kind of makes it sound like Zen is for the elite. It doesn't say that, but the tone is like that. And I'll explain all of that maybe next week. Okay. I hear this too, like Zen is for the elite. It's not. For me, it was most simple, I think, because I found a lot of types of Buddhism was very complicated for me. I'm not a very intellectual person, meaning I'm more intuitive how I approach life. So I needed something kind of more to the bone, more hitting me in the gut kind of thing. Does that make sense? John says, that's why I signed up for the Dharma talks. You know, Clinton's disappointed look. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. John, I don't know if you know this, but Clinton and I meet every other week. So he probably doesn't watch the stream, so I can talk about him. I've seen the look. It's okay. I gave the number to Steven yesterday. He does the schedule. Got it. Overall, it was probably a better talk to give than here. Okay, I got it. 66 Fitzjohn gives me a period. Thank you for that. And let's see, maybe last question. We got about 7 minutes left. Jammin Jones, is the contemplation of death a kind of meditation? Yes, it is. There's a whole practice that focuses on that. Now, I don't know much about that practice, so I'm not going to talk about it. But I did make a video. You know I did. And I'm going to look it up right now, and I'm going to send it to you all. Let's see. And basically, the video is about how death can help our practice, but mostly how it can help our life. Does that make any sense? I got to find my YouTube channel. Figure out to have it bookmarked. All right, I'm going to find this video for you, and I want you to watch it. Let's see. It was fairly recent, meaning I think it was in the last several months. By the way, I'm still, if you notice, I haven't been posting a lot of videos lately. I'm still fine-tuning. You know, I'm not even sure what I'm doing. I'm kind of going on a gut feeling, and it's not quite clear how it's going to be expressed. So you'll see what I'm saying. So the last video I made, some people thought I was going in that direction. So I made a video, and it's mostly a lot of B-roll, you know, like videos of people and people doing things. And I read one of Zen Master Sung Song's teaching. That is one style. I'm not turning my YouTube channel into that style. I still like to respond to people's questions, because I think that's really important, especially if I hear the question over and over again. I want to make a video so people can connect, and hopefully it'll be helpful for them. But I'm trying to be more, I'm trying to simplify more and be more authentic. I'm not even sure if that's the right word. So you'll see as it comes out what I'm talking about. because I'm not quite sure how to even talk about it. Here we go. The video is called, "You Want a More Meaningful Life? Think About Death." So I'll put this in the chat for you all. Cesare said, "It is the first practice they teach me." Maybe you can tell us something about that practice. Here's the video, but I highly recommend that you check this out. And I think I read something about this person who works in hospice, and she made a blog about the top 5 regrets of the dying. I thought it was very interesting because it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before. You know, if we're chasing things, if we're holding things, if we're judging things, we're most likely going to have regrets when we die. Or if you're lucky. I'm just saying, if you're on your deathbed, people thinking, what the hell did I do? And I think I talked about a friend of mine who works in hospice. And this man was saying, you know, I did so much in my life. I traveled the world, had a very wonderful job, beautiful family, nice house. But what did I really do in this life? I thought that was interesting question, right? And a lot of this too is like we're living somebody else's life, meaning like we're told from a very young age how we should approach life. I guess I'm talking about I giving you some. I'm sure I talked about this in the video, but it's like we're kind of programmed. You know, one reason people ask me, why did you become a monk? You know, it wasn't crystal clear, I could say, but one thing is just to break up this kind of conditional life that we're living. Does that make sense? So anyways, check out that video and you'll see my view of why I think at least kind of sitting with death, why that's very helpful. Okay, sound good? Everybody? Everyone happy? So let's see. I believe next Friday, let's see. I'm not sure what's going on. I told you in the beginning of the stream, I'll be in Berkeley. And I'm not sure if I'll be in Berkeley on Friday at that point. So I may live stream from there. I may live stream from here. If something else is happening, I will let you all know. So how would you know that? One, let me see if I updated my events. Boy, I hope I did. If you go to my website, let me see if this is true. I'm going to share my screen, just a live share, just to see if what I'm saying is true. Because sometimes I have an idea. Has anyone seen my new website? It's not much different from the other one. But if you go down to the homepage, all the way down, you will see the events that I'm doing. So here's, the Dharma Friends live stream hangout. Now, if this event is not here, that means I'm not doing it. So far it says Friday, February 20th, there's a Dharma Friends live stream hangout. So far it's on. If you are not sure, maybe on Thursday or Friday morning, go to my website and see if the stream is happening. I think it's going to be happening. If it's not, that's how you'll find out. If you're in my Patreon community, I'm going to send a message on WhatsApp. We have a wonderful WhatsApp group. I love seeing people kind of connecting and sharing things. That was my hope for the WhatsApp group. If you want to join that, check out my Patreon page. I don't have a link for you. I'm sure it's something like Patreon/Jason Quinn. I'll put it in the chat for you all. If you're interested in supporting my project. So this is how I'm able to do live streams, create videos, meet with people, all that kind of stuff. And if you are supporting me on Patreon, thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. Okay, everyone. Thank you for being here. I hope this was helpful. And I will see you next week. Have a clear day.